नमस्कार, पी गुरुस हिंदी में आपका स्वागत है। मैं हूं श्री अय्यर और मेरे साथ जुड़ रहे हैं 𝗏𝗏𝗏 जी। आज कई विषयों पर चर्चा करने वाले हैं। आइए मिलते हैं 𝗏𝗏𝗏 जी से। सुमित जी नमस्कार, राम राम, कैसे हैं आप?
Jai Siya Ram sir, I believe we are doing the English transmission today. Saturday. Not a problem. Not a problem. that is
I'm
the
so
advantage.
sorry. I'm so sorry. I was in some other world. I apologize, viewers. Hello and welcome to PGurus channel, and I'm Sree Iyer, and joining me is 𝗏𝗏𝗏 ji. Profound apologies. So, Sumit ji, I am a little confused about a lot of things today, and this what is happening in Israel now, saying that perhaps the nuclear fuel was not there, that they may have not touched that 400 kilos. Sounds a little difficult to believe. My simple theory is, did they ever have any enriched uranium? Now, I'm going to ask you that question also. Start with what is happening in Operation BAAM in Pak.
Sure. Thank you very much, sir. And being bilingual at times is good for you, or at times hurts you a bit because the language is flipped. So on that note, let's take the name of Bhagwan Shri Ganesh and do the Shri Ganesh of this vlog. Look, the most important thing is we have been talking of Operation BAAM. I think we were the first channels, one of the first channels which picked it up. And
Yes.
It is supposed to be a 3-day. It was supposed to be a 3-day operation from 9 July to 11 July. So the news is sensational because the updates we're getting are quite beyond what we imagined, because Balochis could hold the operation for 3 days. That's the point number one, because that is exactly the message they wanted to give. Look, when it comes to Balochistan, we are the boss. We call the shots. Pakistani army is not going to do anything. We told our viewers that they will attack Pakistani army and they will have a lot of loss to the Pakistani reinforcements and Pakistani men and machinery. Well, unfortunately, that news has also come true. Now, what we know that at least 50 Pakistani army men have been killed. At least 51 are critically injured. So the Balochis, what they have been talking, and the numbers were not out. Now they are out. Now we know what the number looks to be. So in all probability, Sri sir, we are looking to more Pakistani men which could have possibly died, the Pakistani army men. Now they have taken ceremonially around 22 to 24 checkposts, which they took from Pakistani army. They were controlling the shots. They were manning these checkposts. They were saying, this is our territory. We'll check, we'll control, we'll do everything. This is very ceremonial in nature, because that is how the Pakistani army was trying to have, trying to at least claim legitimate control over Balochistan, which they don't have. Point number 3, they are believed to have eliminated 9 men of Pakistani army, Pakistani ISI and MI. Now remember, when these 9 eliminations happened, when 9 people were killed, we're talking about, and we looked at what happened in 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 in April 2024. I was, I think, one of the first on the TV and YouTube to say that, look, this looks to me that when the people were, it was not ethnic cleansing. They were not killing Punjabis point blank. The buses, 2 buses at N70, the highway which they were going. Now, they had 2 buses were stopped. In these buses, there were a lot of Punjabis, which believed it was not only 9 Punjabis which were traveling. The Pakistan tried to show it as an ethnic cleansing of Punjabis. But my thought process was always, it's not wrong, because my sources have been telling me there were maybe 20, 30 or 40 Punjabis in the bus. If they wanted to just kill Punjabi Muslims, they would have just got everybody down and killed. They did not do that. They asked everybody for identity card. Once they looked at identity card, they checked that social security number, whatever. Then they picked up 9 people. They took them to nearby mountains, though BLA, BLF and all, nobody has claimed responsibility for that. But I'm trying to join the dots. They took them to the nearby mountains, and after some time, or in a day also, their bodies, bullet-ridden bodies, were found. Now, Pakistan tried to show it as ethnic cleansing. They tried to show Pakistani Punjabis were killed. But when I looked at the logics of it, it doesn't look to be the case. Now, if today what the Operation BAAM, named by BLF, claims, they said 9 people of Pakistani ISI and military intelligence are killed. Now join the dots. 9 people were picked up from buses, taken to nearby mountains, eliminated by somebody which BLA or BLF, especially BLF, does not any take responsibilities. Now what BLF and what the local media is reporting, that 9 people were killed which were of Pakistani intelligence and ISI. So our thought process was right. It was not ethnic cleansing. They were the people which were picked and kind of eliminated. Now the attacks which were targeted at total 84 attacks. 84 attacks in 72 hours, which is phenomenal, which is like mind-boggling. And I think 9 to 11 attacks were targeted at military intelligence and ISI. So if you look at the kind of span of operations and the span of attacks and all, Balochis claim that they have lost some 10 to 20 of their fighters. BLF has lost 10 to 20 of their fighters. That is approximate number which we are getting. Again, this is the number we are getting. We cannot kind of 100% is 20 or 21. That is the approximate number. But to put a caveat here. Now, if you will look at all the things that what has been achieved, if we can summarize for our viewers, operation lasted for 72 hours. Pakistani army could not do anything. Operation ended up with 84 places attacked. Pakistani army could not do anything. Operation ended at 22 to 24 checkposts taken by BLF, manning them for a good number of hours, almost 2-3 days. Pakistani army could not do anything. Operation ended up with 50 people of Pakistani army dead. We are sorry, but Pakistani army again failed here. Operation ended with 51 people of the Pakistani army, some of them very critically injured, where the deaths will possibly go up. Again, Pakistani armies use this. Operation ended with 9 people being killed of ISI and MI put together, which happened on N70, the 2 infamous bus incident. Again, Pakistani army could not do anything. ISI could not do anything. And the last part of it is these attacks on ISI and MI were around 9 to 11 in nature, which was specifically targeted to that. Besides that, they claim they have burned a lot of trucks, a lot of these big lorries, which were ferrying minerals and which were ferrying those, rare earths or minerals from Balochistan to Pakistan. Basically, the Chinese convoys, not owned by Chinese, but the people who were working for CPEC or people who were trying to take out minerals, wealth from Balochistan, they targeted that. They burned their heavy machinery, they built their cars and their jeeps and all. So in all, what they said, Jano Mal. Jano Mal is, if we translate from Hindi, Jan is life, Mal is goods. So basically, a lot of loss to Pakistani army and establishment vis-a-vis man and machinery, if we can say it. And all spectrum thing wherein the BLF said Operation BAAM was to say that we can have big coordinated attacks on Pakistan army, and we want to prove how incompetent and how useless Pakistani army is in Balochistan. I think if you look at that, the mission seems to be accomplished, and Baloch is losing only 10 to 12 people and they're losing more than 50, having such a big force and such a versatile force, which Pakistan army claims itself to be. It's a big shame of them. It's a big slap on their face. I think what Operation BAAM was launched to send a message, it has been able to send a message. Last sentence, sir, the minerals were not let be taken out of Balochistan, because that is a very, very big thing, because the minerals belong to Balochis. Minerals are not of Pakistan, they belong to Baloch. So they send a very message, you are not taking it out. And one last sentence before I hand over to you. Ethnic cleansing was not done. They didn't just pick up 11 or 9 innocent civilians, because 9 killed and the 9 number given by them, the numbers match. Looks like what I always presumed they were working for Pakistani ISI and military intelligence. Over to you, sir.
Thank you so much, Sumit. And see, this is where 𝗤𝗙 Foundation comes into play. If much of the industry is controlled and run by the 𝗤𝗙s, then what happens is, even if a carrier is taking something, for the common person, ye bhi 𝗤𝗙 ka hai, isko bhi thoko. See that differentiation. This is a private company. Don't kill that driver. Poor guy is just doing his job. See, that decision also becomes blurred when you have the 𝗤𝗙 running much of the industry also. So this is Pakistan is committing so many self goals in terms of running itself, right? You have these army people going and showing up in terrorist funerals. Big image issue. I mean, people in US will be squirming. What the hell is this guy doing, right? Same way, when your convoy of trucks is attacked, people are thinking, well, this is a 𝗤𝗙 Foundation company anyway, so let me take care of everything. So this is, you have to think through some of these actions. Everything, hate India, hate Hindu, you are hating yourself, first of all. Over to you.
Correct, sir. You nailed it, because ultimately, if you are systematically looting and plundering Pakistan, if you are systematically looting and plundering the common man, if you are siphoning everything out of the country in the name of Islam or religion or this Iwan Taqwa Jahar Fizibillah, well, ultimately somewhere down the line, it is not going to stand out. Today, incidentally, Balochis are Muslims. You are not fighting Hindus, you are not fighting Jews, you are not fighting even Christians. Balochis are again Muslims, because how long can they have this loot and plunder going on their territory. And let's not forget that Pakistani army had death squads made which were killing Balochis. So many people are missing in Balochistan. So many women are raped. So many atrocities done. And let me remind our viewers, when Pakistan detonated the nuclear bomb and did the nuclear testing, nuclear detonation was done in Balochistan. A lot of people, Sree sir, still have those radiation problems there. A lot of people had to face the radiation because it was all a makeshift patchy bomb what they did. And a lot of people had to face those radiation issues. So Balochis have been exploited and everybody is trying to sell their land and rights to the best bidder. Well, that may not happen. That is what is not happening. But after that, I think I'm moreover convinced that this is the last fight of liberation. After that, I can today say Pakistan is a loosely held kind of a country with four breakaway republics. It's four breakaway republics which is loosely held. That is what Pakistan looks to me. It's a matter of time. They will all go their way. And Pakistan army might think, assume and believe they have control on Balochistan. Munir might ride the high horse and say, come to Balochistan, I'll protect you. Come to 𝗥𝗘𝗙𝗥𝗏, I'll give you the mines. Come to everywhere, I'll give you everything. But on the ground, Sree sir, it looks like he has lost the control. He's not there. That is what is very evident on the ground. That is what it looks to me. And BLF has been able to make a point. BLF has been able to make a point. And world should see this as a genuine freedom struggle. World should see that these people need to be liberated. World should see the atrocities which are being committed against Baloch people. Let Balochistan not become Xinjiang of the world. That is my humble submission. So.
Thank you so much. See, viewers, Operation Sindoor was primarily an Air Force operation with a lot of assistance from Navy. This is something that again has not come out officially, but reliable sources have told me that the BrahMos that was launched at the Kirana Island was actually launched from a ship, INS 𝗥𝗘𝗙𝗿. Bunker buster also came from there. This was to prove to China, to the West, that BrahMos can be launched from a ship also. Now, look, this is something that has come from a reliable source. Please don't take my word for it. Wait till this becomes official, because India is trickling, drip, information is coming out.
Okay. Remember that Gana, yada tip barsa pani ne aag lagai.
That's one. And the second thing I wanted to say is also, see, this was not a ground offensive, because if it was a ground offensive, you would have seen a lot of desertions happening at the army itself. See, this is a story from Dubai. Average Fauji, which is the lowest soldier rank person, is willing to work for 8,000 Pakistani rupees in Dubai. This is the story doing the rounds in Dubai. How many have escaped Pakistan to run to Dubai? Because once you escape the army, right, you have to leave the country. Otherwise, you will be court-martialed.
Taxi driver? Or this? Yes. Opening the door. Yes, sir. I think Arabs love these Pakistani Fauji saluting them. These rich Arabs have these Pakistani generals as their PSO. But the fact remains, this what is also Khayani, Ashfaq Khayani, whatever was his name was.
Ashfaq Khayani was a consultant helping Saudi Arabia to fight the Yemenis. Not very well, I'm afraid. So let's go to the next topic. This is very important, because now Israel also is saying that perhaps we did not take out the 400 kilos of enriched uranium. If Israel itself admits it, then there could be something there. Why it is coming out now? What was the reason? All these things, Sumitji will analyze it for us. Over to you.
Thank you, sir. I mean, the story started yesterday around 7 o'clock our time, when we started tracking a story wherein they said that, look, the publication quoted an Israeli military official, and name, of course, confidential, and on the conditions of anonymity, that my name will not be said, he has given a story. He said that it is believed that in Isfahan, there was a big stockpile of uranium which was kept there, and Isfahan may not have been completely destroyed. So the story starts that Isfahan may not have been completely destroyed. Look, Isfahan was kind of hit by these GBU-57s. No, not GBU, the Israeli made bombs, not 57. The other Israeli bombs are GBU-27 𝗍𝗲 and GBU-28s. It was hit by, and possibly some Tomahawk missiles also hit it. So he says that there is where the uranium looks to be there, right? And it is not fully destroyed. Now, that is what the Israeli one of the ex-military officers, so the current military officer, said. Now, if you look at the history of Isfahan enriched around 15% of the uranium. Natanz did 65%. Balance 20% of the last part of the cycle was done in 𝗏𝗏. Now, if you look at Agra, Trump says that the sites were completely destroyed. That's what Trump says. Now, Grossi, the UN head, says, look, they were destroyed. A lot of them were destroyed, but some were partially destroyed, some were not fully destroyed. So there is hua nahi hua. Not hua to hua, what Sam Patra says, hua nahi hua. So they were creating what I call strategic ambiguity. Well, did it happen? Did it not happen? So that's the point number one. Then there was a talk that Natanz logically should have maximum uranium because maximum enrichment was happening there. Now, suddenly, after all this happening, so Israel said, no, Iran said, look, we had those 14 trucks going to 𝗏𝗏 and they took all the uranium and all. That was all to give face to Khamenei. But these people did the most tragic blunder. They created this ploy for America and Israel to have this tragic ambiguity. But they're crazy. They did it, but whatever they did. Now, after these trucks went in, did they come? Did they go? No, not all did the contemplations. Now, the thing was, then Israel said, look, we are watching these sites very carefully. So what are you watching, Israelis? We are watching that if Iran may try to take out the enriched uranium from Isfahan, not Natanz, not 𝗏𝗏. Because before this thing, and around 48 hours from what we are talking right now, Araghchi on record came and said 𝗏𝗏 is severely damaged. Those bunker busters, GBU 5717, they are completely destroyed, where the B2s bombed that. Again, 6 of them went inside. They are completely destroyed, one after another. So there is nothing which could have been left there. Now, so 𝗏𝗏 is gone. So anything in 𝗏𝗏 is possibly gone. Now you come to Isfahan and Natanz. Natanz, they have bombed irregularly. Now, Isfahan, this gentleman says there's a possibility there are nukes, there are those enriched uranium which is still in place, and Iran may try to take that uranium out. He puts a caveat. It's very difficult. It is very dangerous because you might have those ural fluorides. If it has the ural fluorides have emulated, the gas will kill you immediately. If the containers have been exposed to moisture, that urofluoric acid will be filled, which will be again radioactive and highly, deadly, and you can't now pull it back to the gas form, what you need to fit into the centrifuge to make the core. So that is a possibility, but still, there might be some cases which might be still intact, although some metallic cylinders which might be still intact and they might try to pull that. Now the story starts, what if Iran tries to kind of go there and pull those, let's say 10 of them, 20 of them, 50, we don't know. How much does it take for Iran to go and do that? It might be risky, but Iran can afford to lose a few hundred men, even if it makes to kind of go pull them. They might be affected by radiation and in a couple of days they might die. But if they're able to pull those cylinders, is that a possibility? Now he says, yes, that is a possibility, but it is very risky, it is very dangerous. So now here there seems to be some consensus building. Now, what happens if Iran tries to do that? Logical question. He says, if Iran tries to do that, we're going to bomb Iran again. Huh? So he said, our jets are ready. Israel is ready to bomb Iran again if they try to go to these 3 sites and try to pull out anything from there. 𝗏𝗏, even the Araghchi says nothing left. Isfahan, there seems to be some, Natanz, there seems to be some consensus, nothing much left there. But Isfahan was the only site which was in discussion, something might have been left there. So he clearly says, look, if you want to go there, we are going to bomb you again. We are watching, we're waiting for you to make the first move. It's a clear go-ahead from the Israel defense minister and Israeli prime minister to go and send the jets and do what they're supposed to do. Now, very interesting part here. So that was where the things ended yesterday. So possibly uranium is still buried there, a part of it, a pile of it, or a sachet of it. So that sends to the rest the story that these trucks went to 𝗏𝗏 and they took out all the uranium. So that's not the case. Now, second thing, so it kind of rested there. Now today, the things take a turn. Things take a turn when Israeli Prime Minister kind of comes in control, says, look, the site, all the 400 kilos of enriched uranium, which is believed to be, as per the latest media reports, in Isfahan, and the site has been destroyed. So no uranium, no enriched uranium left Isfahan. So was it in 𝗏𝗏? According to Israel today, it was not in 𝗏𝗏. Was it in Natanz? No, it was not in Natanz. Was it in Isfahan? So it was all possibly believed to be Isfahan. So two things are here clear. What the Israelis claim today, tomorrow they might change. I don't know. Tomorrow they are saying, today they are saying this uranium never left Isfahan, and all the 400 kilograms of that enriched uranium was in Isfahan, and it was, as you know, at 60% enrichment, it's in those gas containers. It was there. So still the question remains: can Iran go and retrieve it or not? So there is a conflict here. Is it fully damaged? Is it partially damaged? Or is it not damaged? I think something is in Isfahan, which is of interest to America, which is of interest to Israel, and which is of interest to Iran, all the three. Maybe there's a big stockpile there. Maybe there's a bunker there. Maybe there's some underground something there, which they have stored that uranium, thinking that the Americans will bomb further. They may not come for this. So even Donald Trump has been saying, if we come to know Iranis are reaching for the uranium, we'll go and bomb them again. Now, what is the hypothesis here? There are 6 points to why I want to talk to you. First thing is that Americans are very good at one thing, and honestly, Iranis gave them on a platter. This was to have this something called unfinished job. There's still a part of the job which is unfinished. Thoda rehta hai, thoda itna rehta hai. We have been able to do it 80%, but 20% is remaining. So as an American strategy, you leave a 10-20% unfinished because that will give you a license to enter, license to kill. Second thing, if you finish the job and you declare you have finished the job, there is no reason for Israel to threaten Iran. There's no reason for Israel to go into the second strike. So you cannot have the Israel's power dwindled out. You want to still say that Israel is my 𝗤𝗏𝗀𝗻 sword, which is always hanging on your head, and they can come and hit you anytime. That is a point number 2, what you achieve. Point number 3, you want to have this psyops with Khamenei, because Khamenei first, Araghchi said, oh, we took the uranium out, then said we did not take it. You know, with all these things happening, the people within IRGC and the Iran are realizing these are all bluff masters. They all lie. And exactly that's what they do. They all lie. They're not in control. Fourth thing is that with this uranium being still in to be discussed and debated, and part of it destroyed, part of it remains, it remains my license to do whatever I want to do even after 5 years down the line. This uranium can, if it transported to, let's say, Yemen or Syria, they also come in my hitting range. They can also be in my hitting range. I can decide whatever I want to do. I do not want to end this war, but when I attack next time, I don't want to be seen as the aggressor. That is the broader game plan, what they are planning, and that's what the game looks to be. My opinion, uranium was never taken out. I've been stretching my neck out and saying, and in my opinion, as far as I understand and the people I have talked and the research I have done, it is extremely dangerous to go and try to take out that uranium, because that might be already not in the form which you can use. Israel wants to play safe. Trump says, I have completely destroyed the facilities. Israel wants to play safe. Israelis are smart. They say, oh, they have gone back by 2 years. So it is not destroyed. They have gone back by 2 years. So that means within a year or two, we'll replenish our arsenal and all, and we'll be ready to attack. Because if you declare it has completely been destroyed, then tomorrow you might not have a reason to attack. But if you say the only push back for 2 years, that means that is unfinished job. IDF is still in a position to go and attack, and Israel is in an existential crisis. So why they are doing that? Because, you know, there is an element of Pakistan, there's an element of China. Both Pakistan and China can be playing games in the back end. So you can, as Israel, can never declare that it is completely gone. Trump wants to declare it's completely gone because it kind of suits his military genius. It suits the MAGA people. It suits the American masses, which 79% wanted Trump to go and hit Iran. So it was good food for thought for them. But for Israel, they know they have at least gone back 5 or 10 years. But because of the China and Pakistan factor, they are trying to keep it only a 2-year window and saying, look, we are waiting and watching. If you go to near, we'll go and attack you. So for Iran, I have done a study on this. Look, if you want to start from zero, you know, China and Pakistan helping you, it will take you 10 years or more, or 15 years. But if you are able to pull out some things from there, some bits and pieces, that time might be reduced to 3 years or 5 years or 6 years. So that is why Israel is saying, even if you touch that site again, we are going to bomb you again. You will very soon say America taking the same position that will bomb you again, and Israel and America having the thing, because they want you to start from zero. Because if you start from zero, this time Israel will not let you build a facility. Because look, 𝗪𝗏 was built how? 20, 25, 30 years back, they started building that. But after Natanz was discovered. But if you try to make a facility from zero, Israel will not let you make a facility from zero. And there is a perfect thought process now. There's a precedence now. We cannot let you reach Natanz, Isfahan or Fardo level, so we'll go and destroy you. And what is Mohammad 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 saying 3 days back? Mohammad 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 says, oh, Donald Trump is a very good leader. And he's a leader who can bring peace to Middle East. I say, Mohammad 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 sahab, what has happened to you? What did you have in the breakfast today? Because now you're saying Donald Trump is a very good leader. Donald Trump can bring peace to the Middle East, and it's under his leadership. Middle East can be peaceful, but the problematic character is Benjamin Netanyahu. It is Benjamin Netanyahu who wants war all the time. It is Netanyahu who wants to keep Middle East burning. It's Netanyahu who loves wars. So you are trying to silently create a wedge between America and Israel. But America and Israel are the two best partners. Though the meeting with Benjamin Netanyahu and Trump did not go well this time. No joint declaration signed. I think it was about it was about not Iran. It was about the peace deal with Hamas, which Benjamin Netanyahu said, "Look, I'm not going to do it on my conditions." Hamas has to agree to it. But after his 5 soldiers unfortunately got killed, I think in Ben Hud, somewhere in Khan Yunis, and his 14 soldiers got critically injured. So there was a lot of pressure on Benjamin Netanyahu now to do a peace deal with Hamas. Now, we don't know how the peace deal will end. There are hardly any hostages left which are still believed to be alive. And Benjamin Netanyahu believes in complete surrender of Hamas, and from land, from river to the sea, they will control all the Gaza. So Gaza conditions are tricky. Benjamin Netanyahu is not backing. Hamas is not interested in the deal because Hamas knows if they give up the weapons once, they will never ever get the power again. So IDF is going in. They're destroying all the tunnels. They're destroying all the infrastructure. By the way, IDF is taking a lot of hits. Unfortunately, a lot of soldiers are getting losing their lives. Om Shanti for all our fallen brothers of Israel. They are losing their lives. But that's what war is all about. So Trump wanted one more L'Oreal, announced the ceasefire. Benjamin Netanyahu doesn't agree to that. But so far, this temporary thing between Israel and Iran starts, and the queen on the what we call on the carom board, the queen by which everybody wants to take, is कहानी यूरेनियम की. आखिर कटप्पा ने बाहुबली को क्यों मारा? Still, is the uranium there? Is it gone? Is it partially gone? Is it wholly gone? So the game of strategic ambiguity continues, and that will be the future license to kill. That will be a thing which you can go to war any point of time. That is where it adds up. So Fardo, everybody agrees gone. Natanz, everybody agrees gone. But Isfahan mein story abhi baki hai mere dost. Story is yet to come. We're just talking about the trailer. So that might be the new point of going to war. And the things are, this is how exactly it has shaped up so far. I'm bringing you up to date of say, what is the latest view. Sir, over to you.
Thank you so much, Sumit ji. So we have a couple of small things about Khamenei warning Trump and Araghchi warning EU. Before we do this, I have an update in terms of how bad things are in Iran. Their official exchange rate to a dollar is 42,000 riyals. The government, the bank itself only allows if you bring in 520,000 riyals per dollar. Black market price upwards of 900,000 riyals to a dollar. So viewers, this is getting really bad. Now people say that North Korea is capable of making very good counterfeit US dollars. Who knows if it's even actually US dollar or a North Korean counterfeit that is being in circulation in Iran. I feel bad for the Iranian people. These are not normal conditions. Even Pakistani rupees only 298 rupees to a dollar. This has gone much beyond that. So Iran is in a lot of pain because you can't survive with this kind of stuff. So I don't know when the dam is going to burst there in terms of political change. So let's wait and see, because all these warnings, they don't amount to much because you don't have the muscle to carry through your warning. Why warn someone when you can't really carry out the threat? My 2 cents, I'll leave it to you. Sir, 2 to 3 minutes each, and then we can go to questions.
Sure, sir. Now, 2 or 3 things here. 4 small topics we have to cover. We're all related, and they're not out of the gamut. So Sree sir will not shout on me. All within this food chain. The first thing is that, look, we talked on our Endgame series that Israel has gone and destroyed the most and the biggest bank of Iran. We discussed on Sunday. After that bank is destroyed, the supplies of government, the money which was coming to government is gone. There was a crypto exchange which was gone. So Israel went and picked up a lot of targets within Iran which were beneficial to China, which we have discussed, and which were beneficial to government of Iran. even the rumors say that the government of Iran is not able to pay salaries to its people, which includes the people in IRGC and all, the lower ranking guys who really live by the salary, not the big boy, fat boys who have a lot of money because of whatever reasons. So the problem with Iran is going up. That is why the dollar, what you rightly said, is going double in the black market. Usually it should be some 2-3% difference, but if it goes double, that means that dollar nahi hai wahan pe. Dollars are not there. The Iran doesn't have dollars, and the things can't run without dollars. That is the point number one, which makes things very interesting here. Point number two is, yesterday, what is his name? Mohammad Javed Larjani. Mohammad Javed Larjani is one more joker. He was an advisor to Khamenei, ex-advisor. He yesterday warned Donald Trump that we will assassinate you. How are you going to assassinate Trump? Oh, when you are in Mar-a-Lago and you are lying on your stomach and sunbathing, a drone can come and hit your tummy and you will be gone. As if, it is like my backyard when you can just fly the drones and nobody is there to intercept you. He said, you send a drone to kill Qasem Soleimani. Now we'll send a drone to do this. Trump, you can never sunbathe. Okay, bhai, will not sunbathe. Thank you, be very happy. So people are laughing at it. But the problem here is a lot of Irani clerics have started kind of officially saying that elimination of Trump is the biggest Islamic duty of any Shia in the world. And unfortunately, these clerics have a lot of fan following across the world, and they have a lot of people who still believe in what they say, and they still see them as messengers of God and all. And it takes a couple of crazy people to attempt a few things. And so there's a part which is kind of a bit worrying. I don't go by what this Larjani says and what he's trying to warn the Trump. That is all crap. But these lone wolf kind of attacks on America, on American interests, is something which is a possibility. And I'm very sure the American Secret Services is fully capable of protecting their president. That's not a problem there. But these kind of attacks they are trying to insinuate more and more and more. And remember, there was a threat by Iran that if anything happens to Khamenei, the retaliation will be seen in mainland America. Now, they can't send missiles to America. What they will do is something like that. These lone wolf attacks, attack somebody. Those pro-Jewish diplomats of Israel, they were killed outside a Jewish center in New York. So something like that they might attempt to do again. So I'm just warning people, this possibility, just watch out. Now, coming to the part. Now, usually, when there are these sanctions which UN can impose on Iran, because if they're backed out of the nuclear deal and they walk out on the NPT, they will be kind of imposed on it. Now, Araghchi has warned UN, if you impose the sanctions on me, because they're literally kind of walking out of the NPT, so Europe will have no say in the Iran's nuclear program. That means I will not allow Europeans, I will not allow anybody to enter Iran, and I'll be able to do whatever I want to do with my nuclear program, because if you put sanctions on me. But Araghchi, unfortunately or fortunately, exposed the weak financial status of Iran, which we are discussing right now, where the finances are in a very, very bad shape. So he's threatening the whole Europe now. If UN imposes these sanctions, I am kind of, you are not a part of the deal. So this also in a way means you are trying to threaten Europe, because you have the missiles which can cover entire Europe. You are even trying to threaten the Europe. And if you put sanctions on me, you're not my friends, and anything that happens, that's not my problem. And then don't tell me I never told. So though if the sanctions will be imposed by UN, though everybody will have to vote, but why is he threatening Europe? Because still his missiles can hit Europe. That is a point where the rogue regimes are dangerous. That is what he is trying to threaten the Europe, that if this UN imposes those sanctions and you help them, you will have repercussions. So the war I see is increasing a bit at a rhetorical level, not at a military level, but at a rhetorical level. Now let's see how Europe responds to it and what happens. We will contemplate and see that. The second part of it is, now Khamenei is Khamenei. Khamenei will never change. Khamenei has warned Trump. What does he want Trump? When the Iranis retaliated after the American attack on Fordow, they sent a couple of missiles, I think 13 or 16, to this Al-Umaid air base in Qatar. And when the missiles were sent, a lot of them were intercepted by the Patriots. I think one odd missile came and hit the airbase, and there was some damage on some gyroscopes and all those satellite antennas, and a couple of those comm gear. There was a damage there because it hit the dome of the base, wherein there's comm gear and some other equipments were there, not high-tech equipment, but the basic comm gear was hit. Now, as the international media and everybody now kind of claims that yes, one of the missiles did hit the base and it caused some peripheral damage to the American infrastructure. Now, when that thing is confirmed by the international media, we have these, Iranis come up and say, look, we told you, we have the missiles which can bypass Patriots. We have the missiles which can bypass the shields. Yes, and they have hit the US base. We have approved. And Mr. Trump, this is not the last. We have many more missiles. We can hit your bases again. We can do this. We can do this. We can do this. We can do this. Again, rhetoric has started. This is not the first. This is not the last. We know where your base is. I mean, again. The same old story has happened. But somewhere down the line, let me put a word of caution. It is believed that, as per Pentagon and some sources, Iran still has around 1,000 missiles maybe left with them. But the number of interceptors which America has today are less than those 1,000 missiles. And of course, everything will not be as far as good as hitting all the American bases and all. But the American bases in the Middle East are very near and within the hitting range of Iran. And now Houthis really causing havoc in the in the Red Sea. There's another part I want to cover after that. So again, just by one picture, one small hit, one peripheral damage, Khamenei has again warned that we have the capacity, we can hit you, because Khamenei wants to at least tell his people, look, we have the capacity, we can hit American bases. What if they destroyed our 𝗪𝗏, they destroyed our Natanz, they destroyed our Isfahan, but still we can hit American bases? No, we have not been, we have been bruised, not been wounded. That is exactly what he's trying to say. Iran is bruised, but not been wounded. But if I look at his general who replaces Salami, General Salami, he says, my 30 generals, 30 nuclear scientists, and a lot of people who matter in my chain, they're all been eliminated. So this is what is happening. I have then, after 2 or 3 minutes on Red Sea, then we take it. We go to questions. You want to add on something?
No, go ahead. We need to get to the questions part. Yeah.
Sure. Okay. Now, on the Red Sea, what we know, friends, is that Houthis are getting aggressive. Houthis are proxies of Iran. Houthis have drowned 2 ships in 72 hours. Both the ships were carrying stuff to Israel, right? One was a Liberian ship, one was another ship. In both the ships, the common thing is there is a Greek crew. It is believed, I don't have any confirmation, some Indians might be on the crew. We have at least 4 people dead, confirmed. We have at least 10, 12 people injured. We have a couple of people taken as hostages, and we have a lot of people who are still missing. And it has been a lot of time on the sea. We have seen the videos of 2 ships going down, and yesterday Houthis declared a blockade on Israel. So they are saying anything going to Israel, any ship going to Israel, doesn't matter which country or whatever, we will go and hit it. And not even in Red Sea, Gulf of Eden, and Arabian Sea, wherever they are, including Strait of Mandel, wherever they are, we'll go and hit them. So we are declaring a naval blockade on Israel. They tried to fire a missile to Ben Gurion airport, which was kind of intercepted. But wherever your ships are, we are going to hit. Idea is to have the trade of Israel now, because and soon there are a lot of things which come into Israel and go out of Israel because of ships. So soon they are trying to have that basic commodity scarcity in Israel. So to send a message, we are controlling. Now Houthis are getting out of control. Marine patrols, I don't know how useful they are. US and UK trying to protect the streets, how useful they are. India, we have 2 destroyers which are somewhere kept nearby. So, but again, both the ships had marine escorts and they had private company security with them. They fired at them, but again, they were outnumbered. So the thing in Gulf of Eden and Red Sea and, and the Arabian Sea are heating up. Houthis are increasing their scope. So in a way, that part of the world is Suez Canal. And Egyptians are losing billions of dollars in revenue on the Suez Canal. But forget what Egyptians are losing. 70% of the American exports and imports pass through Suez Canal. And $200 billion of our trade pass through Suez Canal. Let me give you one more piece of data, which is very sensational. With all this fiasco happening, we have almost 200 crore rupees of loss already on our textile industry as we speak right now. So this is the fiasco which Iran is now creating indirectly through Houthis. Now, how will the world handle Houthis? What will be the role of India? What will be the role of America? And unfortunately, those American Navy patrols and British Navy patrols and all have not been effective, because it takes a lot of balls to drown 2 big ships in 72 hours and release the videos of that. And this Nasrallah, who is the leader, is kind of still live and kicking. The update we had, or the speculation we had during that a missile has hit them, and there were 9 or 8 top-ranking officers of Houthis were there. That doesn't seem to be true because Israel did not confirm it. So Houthis are going to be the new big bottleneck, which is simmering. Somewhere down the line, somebody has to decide what do you want to do to them, because their firepower is increasing, and that 𝗔𝗍𝗍 missile which they have, it can reach Ben Gurion Airport, but it gets intercepted most of the times. So push comes to shove, they might have something other variants. So we don't know. Things are kind of heating up there. I thought I will report this to you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sumit. Viewers, you need to look at the other episode that I did, which is to find out all the illegal routes by which Iran was supplying crude to China. 22 entities have been sanctioned. And this is an episode that I put out yesterday with all the data that gives you an idea of how much mal was doing, how much oil was being sold outside the petrodollar system. I've been always telling you that when one country buys petrol from another country, that gets registered, it gets acknowledged in Houston. It has to happen there. And Houston provides some leverage and services, if you will. All that stuff is missing. So there is much more happening here as to how Houthis have suddenly got something. I think they are just trying to go dig in and get their arsenals out. Unfortunately for America and Israel, Houthis are hitting them in the sea, high seas. Like they are going after tankers, ships, and things of that nature, which is easier for them rather than going after the Israeli targets. That's too far. And vice versa, it's also far for Israel also. So we have to wait and see. They have pounded a lot of the Houthis, but again, these are madmen doing something where they believe that life begins only after death. What can I say? Thank you so much. Let's go for questions now.
Sure, sir.
First question from MRS. Sumitji, why is there a delay in signing the mini trade deal? What is going on in the United States?
Very interesting question. I think after there was a talk of this 50% tariff and secondary tariffs and all that, we discussed that on PGurus, and we also told you how in the evening Marco Rubio was talking to Lavrov. So I thought those 50% tariff, I told you on, I think that very episode, that the Indian delegation, in my opinion, had to rush to America because India is also hardening its stand, or Trump is trying to demand something new. So that is why I think when we are talking right now, the Indian delegation must have reached there. They were not supposed to go now. They were supposed to go towards the end of the month or the beginning of the next month. So if they had to rush there again, means there's something which is still being discussed and deliberated. Possibly Trump is asking for something more, or India has changed its stand. India is asking for something more. That is still to be seen. But trade deal not getting announced, there are some things which have come up new, which need to be settled. That's why the delegation is there, which was not supposed to be there ideally.
Next one, please. Rajaraman says, is it not oil in Iran US is interested than establishing democracy? Iran is next in the line of Iraq, Libya, ..
Look, if Trump will go to Iran, he will keep the oil. I can tell you that. And Iran's this uncontrolled military ambitions is the main reason why America and Israel are against them. It's not only about oil. Iran can still cut a deal with America and sell the oil. It's very easy for them. But like Saudis do, like everybody does, you can have another Aramco in Iran. Why can't you have another Aramco in Iran? But here they're not interested in the money. The problem is they are interested in life after that. This mullah regime particularly. Look, Saudis, Aramco, if you read about it, it's a fantastic venture, which was one of the world's richest company at one point of time. The Americans and Saudis are working fine. But in Iran, because of this mullah regime, such deals can't be done. So oil, you don't have to only capture and take, sir. The oil, you can also make a company like Aramco and mint money and make billions out of it.
Next one, please. NT wants to know, main big point you are missing. US interest to keep point open. If there is no threat to Israel, UAE, Qatar, then who will buy their weapons?
Well, sir, I believe it's not about weapons, as I've been clearly saying that weapons are contributing 0.7% of the American GDP, weapon exports. Weapon industry is mainly for American own purpose. Today, America is running pretty low on weapons, by the way. If you talk of THAAD batteries, if you talk of those Patriot interceptors, America is only left with 25% of the interceptors or Patriots. So it's pretty low. And some of the missiles what Zelensky has given to, Biden gave to Zelensky, it will take 2.5 years to replenish them. America is running all-time low on weapons, and Putin is running all-time high on weapons. America's biggest priority will be to have weapons for itself rather than trying to go there. In fact, in my opinion, and as was spoken on various platforms, the point why America is trying to get ceasefire everywhere very fast is so that their weapons don't kind of diminish so fast. Unfortunately, Ukraine war, which Biden went and bought, has substantially dented America's weapon arsenal, because there were two stockpiles. One is I have a stockpile, and one is USAF. So if I give Zelensky from this stockpile, USF has to place the order on vendors, and this stockpile has to be filled. So what did Biden do? He gave from here and he gave from here, both the ways. So what happened in America? That is what is happening in America. So the stockpile is really running notes, sir. And if you look at the 0.7% of the GDP, it doesn't make a lot of sense. If you look at the energy exports, that still make 5% of the American GDP. And if you look at what item is the highest on the American exports, is finished industrial goods, which still have the maximum of the American exports. So if they play games on oil and gas, I understand that's 5% of the GDP. But for 0.7%, well, looks a tough one, sir. Next. Manoj Sans, ask, will China supply a J800G? She said is back.
Yeah, 𝗤𝗏𝗐. Yeah. Will China supply J10C jets to Iran, and has it decided to stand with Iran? How will US react? What will happen to nuclear proliferation treaty or non-proliferation treaty if Iran exits? Can NPT survive, or will it fall apart? Too many questions, Manoj Sanjay. We'll just take one question. Look, Chinese mal is suspect. One line. Over to you, sir.
Look, China is desperate to sell J10C. Iran does not have an aircraft to fly today. So if China is able to give it J10C, that China has been standing with Iran and even trying to get Pakistan and Bangladesh with it, which I have been talking to you, that they were trying to get Pakistan and Bangladesh into it. That's happening. We can't deny that. China will sell to any and every rogue nation. China will sell to all the Muslim countries in the world. It makes sense. So, and they will also get Turkey with them in the long run. Yeah, I will briefly order on the NPT, sir, that look, if Iran walks out of the NPT, the biggest loser is Iran. Then it is a license to destroy Iran to America and Israel. With NPT, you can still say, Mr. 𝗏𝗏𝗏, what is happening there? 𝗏𝗏𝗏 will report something, though they have told that 𝗏𝗏𝗏 is an agent of Israel and it should be eliminated. There's a different thing. But 𝗏𝗏𝗏 is their biggest insurance, because this man says they were far away, they're 60%, 40%. If Iran becomes a black hole, black holes are dangerous. So for Americans and Israelis, they will not want to have a black hole, which can mean death to America or death to Israel, technically speaking.
Next one, please. T. Ramesh wants to know, do these developments point towards a World War III in the making? Khamenei still seems to be alive and kicking, unlike what we thought earlier.
Yeah, Khamenei was alive. We thought he's highly incapacitated or he might be eliminated. But he was not in the best of the conditions, but they kept him alive and kicking. Khamenei getting back is again, kind of raising the things, because the fatwa, so-called fatwa against Trump, was issued by his deputy. So that made everybody suspicious. Is he still alive or is he kicking? But we don't know. So yeah, the things are not going to a World War III. But if somebody exceeds the brief, like, there was an attack on, Ukraine last time, and there were NATO jets in the air in Poland airspace. Let's say a couple of drones crossed into Poland by mistake, and NATO responded to them. That is where the things can really go bad. And if you put into the extreme corners, that is where the things can go bad. One miscalculation here and there, things can go bad. That is what we are looking to. And let's not forget, there's a nation called China, which will support all these nefarious characters and assure them all the support and cooperation. Sree sir, by the way, Chinese air chief was in Pakistan and was praising Pakistan and saying Pakistan Air Force is so brilliant, they did so well in Operation Sindoor, that Chinese Air Force needs to learn from them. So if China wants to learn how to get your 90% of the airbase whacked, yes, Pakistanis are the best people.
Next one, please. Ravi Shankar wants to know, today, Donald Trump declared that he will impose 200% duty on India's import from Russia. It's just an observation. These are just rhetorics. Let it go. Next one, please. Yeah. Next one, please. Milburn Cherian wants to know, rehearsal for the sacrifice of the red heifer is being done in Israel. Do you think it will provoke Iran? What is this?
I am not sure what is red heifer.
Yeah, I'm also not sure.
Oh, brother, sorry for this.
Karthik wants to know, assume if America was geolocated in India and if another country attacking its neighborhood, would you think America would be keeping silent? What the hell India is doing? Just watching?
India is not watching. India is preparing. Let me tell you, brother, there are a couple of things which are happening. We are preparing for Operation Sindoor Part 2. There's a joint venture happening with where China, Turkey, and China and Turkey are jointly working to make Pakistani Air Force of the next level, wherein AI and drones and UAS, unmanned aerial vehicle systems, are kind of introduced into Pakistani Air Force. We are aware of that. And we know that they have been completely whacked. China wants to come back at us. We have done a procurement of more than 40,000 crores, where we are buying a lot of equipment, within 40 days PO, and within less than 1 year, we are getting all the supplies in our boat. This is for the first time India has ordered ₹1 trillion. I don't know how many thousand crores are there of procurement for the army at a war footing. So we are getting our ammunition ready. We're preparing for the war. Yes, right now, that is what we can do. In the long run, make in India is the only way. So, the alignments are happening very clear. Turkey, China, I don't count Azerbaijan, Turkey, China, and Pakistan. They might get a Bangladesh with them, or they might get one more sidekick with them. But these three are kind of completely aligning. And we are also doing what we have to do in Greece and Cyprus. We'll discuss that. So what we have to do in Greece and Cyprus, and what we should be doing in Bangladesh. There are also discussions which we are done on PGurus channel on that. So we are on that game. But yes, we are preparing for a bigger war which will happen. I don't know when, but everybody knows that it is going to happen. And because Pakistan is not going to change, Turkey is not going to change, China will never change. So with all these three coming together, and because they now see India is gravitating towards the West. A lot of people will not like this, what I'm saying, but this is evident now. Look at all the international media. I've been saying this for a year now. All the international media is kind of saying that India is gravitating towards the West, which is logical, which is the most logical thing to do. No, Russia remains our friend, Israel remains our friend, France, everybody is a friend. But yes, we are not going much into those Eastern blocks, right? SCO and those BRICS and all. Yeah, we are part of that, but we are not kind of getting towed away by them. So even so far, so good for India. I think Modi government is doing the right thing, looking at the India supreme national interest. That is what you should do. And even if you have a transitional Trump, learn to do better transitions with him. Learn to get more things out of him. That is what the game should be, and that is what we are doing. And I believe we are on the right path. Yes, there might be some course corrections required here and there, which will happen in due course of time. And if I always say that if our diplomacy is like alternate current, their diplomacy cannot be like a DC curve straight. They will also have a AC curve. So we have to manage both the curves, and we have to go on and manage the things. That's my 2 cents on it.
Thank you so much, 𝗤𝗎. That was a wonderful session. Viewers, will be back with 𝗤𝗎 at 10 a.m. tomorrow morning, talking about China, the latest developments there. Mind-boggling. It's all I can say. Do join us for that. Let's take the Ashirvad of Mahadev now.
Thank you very much, friends, brothers and sisters. Please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Click on the bell icon. Click on all the four. All the four should come to you. And this video, you have to put on your WhatsApp groups. With a note, kindly go through it. A lot of information packed in 40-45 minutes. English, easy. Anybody can kind of get through it. And on that note, thanks for all your patronage and love. Bharat Mata ki jai, Vandhe Matram. Om Namah Parvati Pataya. Har 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 Mahadev.